Hey, this is Jordan,
And this is Oli.
and welcome to the Real Cut Podcast, where we give you our unfiltered take on life.
Yeah. Good morning.
Hello,
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. A little tired, but
I
I feel like that's life. No.
had to check my clock because I'm like, it's got to be afternoon by now, but it's still morning. It was
Still
an early
morning.
one for me. I
It
know you
was.
usually are early riser,
Yeah,
earlier than me on most days.
I do. I do. I like to usually get after it. Not today, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, we need those days too.
absolutely. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, it's my Sunday. It's a good day.
Yeah.
I didn't usually I would be up even a little bit earlier out of necessity, but my son um happened to be with his mom because they had like an
Hmm.
awesome holiday party yesterday, right? Because it's the
Fun.
Christmas
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
And so she got to take him to school this morning. I didn't have to worry about waking up,
Yeah.
so it was nice to kind of sleep in and recoup a little
Awesome.
bit. I was up a little late last night just watching TV, goofing off, but
Cool.
yeah.
Watching anything interesting?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember actually that you bring it up. I watched a really interesting movie called it's like Arkansas, I think is
That
what it's
sounds
called.
literally the opposite of interesting.
I
That
know.
sounds very boring, and I would never click play on that.
You would think
So,
so, right?
what made you even want to read the description?
Well, so a friend recommended it. She said it was a great movie.
Okay.
So we turned it on and watched it, and
Wow.
it was a dark comedy.
Okay.
Vince Vaughn's in it,
Oh, do love
and
him.
yeah, he's great. And
Yeah.
he doesn't
Love
play
me
his
some Bond.
normal character though. He's actually
Mm.
I mean, he's still Vince Vaughn, but he's not like your fast talking, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, Vince
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn. He's more of a slow, like controlled.
Right.
And he does it, he shows his acting skills. He does it
Yeah.
really well. Um and it has to do with like drug running and stuff like that. But I
Right.
don't want to say too much because I don't want
Yeah.
to give away too much, right? But it's actually a pretty good
Okay.
movie. Yeah,
All right.
overall.
You know who is typically a comedy actor? So maybe same thing. So comedy
Okay.
actor. But he played a very serious role, and he was kind of the bad guy a little bit, but
Hmm.
it was about him. It's like one of those where it's like they really developed the characters so well,
Yes.
and there are lots of like horrible things, but you're like hooked and you're like, I gotta follow, It's kind of
Yeah.
like The Sopranos. Well, Tony
Yes.
Soprano. Like he
Yeah.
killed people, but
I
it was
haven't
Tony
watched that all the
Soprano.
way through yet. Have you?
Oh yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Oh yeah.
I need to sit down and do it. Every time I'm
Yeah.
like, let's watch it. Some people are like,
Oh, you need to.
I don't know.
Oh, I loved it. But okay, so it was, I wonder if you've seen it. It was
Okay.
Harry from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Who's that
Okay.
guy?
Oh,
What's his
Jeff
name?
something, I think, right?
Okay, I'm gonna find the name of
Goldblum?
this
No,
because
that's not it.
um it was such a good show and you need to watch it. Everybody needs to watch it. Okay. So
Jeff
his name is,
Daniels.
yes, Jeff Daniels, and the show is A Man in Full.
A Man in Full.
Yes,
Okay.
it's literally so good. I hope they make another one, but man, yeah,
It was great,
great
huh?
ratings. Yeah. So A
Okay.
Man in Full, definitely watch that. But
I'm gonna have
same
to check
thing.
it
I was
out.
like, wait a minute. I was like, is this Harry? Is
Yeah,
this
you're like,
really? I mean, just a totally different it uh from what I remember. I mean, he had a suit and tie. He was like a
wow.
businessman, very high up, had the
Okay.
ties, had the bad ties,
Immediate
like
reverse.
it was
Yeah,
good. Yeah. So anyways,
that's so
cool.
cool.
All
All
right.
right.
That's
Yeah,
our
so
homework. I'll watch Arkansas. You
I'm gonna
watch
watch
A Man in Full.
A Man in Full.
There's one season out so far.
Is there?
It's
Okay,
newer though. Yeah.
cool. I can burn through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out.
mhm.
Always looking for new content,
I know.
especially here in the barbershop. Like I always have something playing in the background.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I burn through stuff really quickly. Some things I'll wait till I watch at home
Yeah.
because I want to
You want to
intently watch
focus.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
My nail lady plays great. She plays murder documentaries or Love on the Spectrum.
mm,
So it's like you can't go wrong with
right.
either
Both of
one.
those are great.
Yeah. Like,
Absolutely.
most nail salons are like cooking shows or whatever, which is fine, but
Yeah.
like I want to learn about some like brutal murders or something.
Yeah.
Or just like laugh at how cute Love on the Spectrum is. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. It's like like I either want to like learn about death or love. It's
Yeah.
like
Uh,
that's that's
And
such a girl. I don't mean that in a rude way. Like it's just like every girl. They're like, listen, I just love the world. Now let's watch this murder show.
it's
Like,
balance, right? Like,
exactly.
yeah.
That is
Ooh,
perfect balance. I
yeah.
love it.
But I do get my own front row seat to Love on the Spectrum
Yes, you do. I was like, there's a joke here. There is a
with
joke
you.
here. Yeah, you do definitely with me.
So,
That's the truth. I
yeah.
think it is funny. Like whenever like dating, I think like people I tell them like in the beginning, like, hey, I'm on the spectrum, like,
Yeah.
so I think they're like, oh, okay, and then
And
we
then
start
they
like
find
hanging out.
out.
Yeah,
They're like,
like,
"Oh, he actually
oh,
is."
yeah, he wasn't joking. Like some people will be like, oh, they're like they're maybe night they may be
Ner
neat.
ner
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, so they may be a little neat and they're like, oh, I'm OCD. And it's like, that's not OCD. You're just clean. It's
Yeah.
different. It's the same
Yeah,
thing. People
you
are
are
like, oh, I'm
clean.
autistic. And then I don't think people take it seriously. They're like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, you are. And it's like, oh, no, you're very literal.
Yeah.
Dang. Like, okay,
Right.
yeah. Or
Yes.
like how sometimes I can come across like non-emotional.
Uh-huh.
That's something I run into as well when
Mhm.
dating. Is
Mhm.
like it's funny what things I really do care about,
Mhm.
and then other things I just really do not.
Right.
Like,
And
yeah.
yeah. And you are, which is why we get along.
Mhm.
I'm not spectrum, but this is just
You
like
might
how
be.
you know.
I'm just kidding.
But like being black and white, so that tracks. Like
Absolutely.
you do care or you don't care. Like
Hmm.
it's black or it's white. It's yes or it's no.
Yep. Yeah. Because I
Which
like clear
is
things.
great. I am
Yes.
not a gray area person. I don't do well with that
No.
at
No.
all, and that makes it difficult if you're like I'm married to a gray area person.
Yeah.
He has no black or white on almost anything.
Okay.
Almost anything.
Yeah. Just lives in the gray.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's not
No, there's no wrong
wrong.
or right.
I know
Exactly.
that,
Yeah. There's no wrong or right.
but it can be challenging learning how to communicate and make decisions and all of that because it's never the same.
You're trying to mold two
All
different
these,
personalities.
yeah, and like all of his decisions are based on so many other factors, whereas mine I kind of have set factors
Right.
and it either qualifies or it doesn't.
Okay.
So
That's
it's
nice being able to be like,
definitely,
well, I
yeah,
get that. I understand that.
yeah.
Part of me, like, I overthink, so I can seeing so many factors, right?
Mhm.
But I agree with you at the end, like, there are certain things that go, okay, well, this makes it this,
Mhm. Yeah,
like it is.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways,
that's so
fun
funny. Yeah,
fun
like
stuff.
personalities are so funny like that. It's always nice though, I'll say, like when dating, because I had a short stint with this really nice girl and it didn't
Mhm.
work out and that was okay. But like it's when
Yeah.
it breaks off nicely. You know what I mean? When
Mhm.
you can just both be adults and be like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe not this path.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. I
and there's
know.
no like,
It's so true.
yeah,
When
yeah,
you have another mature adult, you know.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's personality is made to go together. And that's where it's
Right.
like, it's not that anybody's wrong,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
anything like that. And it is fun when you can find, I think, a good blend between the two.
Mhm.
Like you and
Yeah.
Mike have
You
found a
truly
really
do
good
have to
blend.
be like compatible
Agreed.
and have good communication.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, but what day? Oh, it was just a few nights ago. It was Saturday night that we went and did
Are you
something
talking about
fun.
fight night?
Fight night.
Fight
No,
night.
wait. Fight night.
Fight night.
Yeah.
That's
That was
right.
cool.
It was
I
such a
feel like
blast.
in like the same like 10-day period,
Yeah.
you've sent me two different texts. Number one, there's a half marathon in a few weeks. You want to do it? Yup.
Yeah.
Let's go. I just signed up. Text number two, there's an MMA fight. You want to go? Yep. Got
Yeah.
tickets. Perfect. Let's go.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's been awesome. And then up until that point, fight night's coming. Fight night's coming. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
And it was a blast. Well, I think I like to do things. And I found as well, I'm not a very good planner. And if I bring things up to people who are good planners,
Mhm.
they happen more often. And so that's usually why I bring it up too. And
More often.
yeah, absolutely. Rather than when I try to plan them out and do them, because that Usually, and it's not even that, like, I'll just forget about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, all of a sudden, I'll see something and be like, "Oh, the marathon's this week," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"I wanted to do that." Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And it's good. It's fun. Like, I think that's one thing I love about our friendship as well, is that I know you're down. You know
Yep.
what I mean? As long as I'm not like, "Hey, do you wanna, like, go hunt alligators and do crystal meth?" You'd be like, "No, of
I
course not."
mean, I don't know. That actually low key, that sounds kind of fun.
I mean, I try to think of something exciting, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. You're
I
like,
don't know how to hunt an alligator. I feel like,
I mean, I've watched some documentaries.
yeah,
Not
okay.
they're not documentary. I don't know. They were like it's like making it sound like they're like, this is how you do it. But like there
Well,
was
that's
a show.
probably illegal, I would imagine.
Well, I think you have to get like I think there's tags and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Because
right.
people do it. They
Oh, that's
sell
true.
they sell
You
gator
eat
skins
it.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can eat it. Yeah.
I know you have to shoot them in a specific part of their head
Yeah.
because they're like armored.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, don't make fun of me for watching murder shows when you're learning about alligator anatomy and what part of the head to shoot them in. I mean, I
Listen.
know it's different than a human, but also that's just like super
No,
calculated.
well, it's what I do. But as not what's darn it, words are hard. Um, like unput together. What's the word for that? Like, thank
Disorganized?
you. In my words and life, I can be very calculated as well, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
it's good to know things. But
It's
I
good to know.
also, let's be real, I learned that from like Swamp People. It was like some one of
Oh, is
those like
that a show
reality
or
shows.
something? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's like what they do. So like
Okay.
they're like
Oh,
you're really watching it for the hillbillies
right.
and all the hillbilly
And then
stuff
you
they're
learn
gonna
fun
do.
facts like
Mm,
how to kill an alligator.
exactly.
Ah,
Because you
okay.
never know. You might be in a death roll one day.
Yeah. Well, if like from a past podcast, if I
Hmm.
knew when I would be leaving this earth, I
Yes.
will take you up on that
Okay.
adventure. 'Cause that'd be fun.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've always said
But
that.
we would
So
definitely die from it anyway. So
no,
it's like
yeah,
if we got one day left, like let's go.
that's what I'm saying. So my friends and I, a couple, we've talked about this before as well. Like it's one of those moments, like if you know for sure, like you're gonna die, like what are the things you would do, like that would normally mess up your life, right? That you would
Yeah.
never do because it would obviously be horrible decisions,
Right.
right? But if you're about to die, and you're not gonna hurt anybody else per se,
Great.
right? As well,
Yeah.
right? Because that's key too.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? And that was
Mm-hmm.
one of them. I was like, I might chase the dragon. I might just go crazy. Like, like
Wait, there aren't like, do you mean like an alligator?
when I say chase the dragon,
Yeah.
that's heroin.
Oh, I'm like, do people call them that?
I mean, they do. Like, yeah, I mean,
I
alligators are
don't
like,
know the drug terms
yeah,
to
no, it's
anything.
okay.
Like I know ibuprofen.
I mean, pro,
I know multivitamin.
ibuprofen.
I might take 4 ibuprofen.
She's like, listen,
Woo!
man, I am hopped up on some Motrin right now. It is
Oh, cough
great.
syrup.
There you go. Make yourself a little syrup,
Mm-hmm.
like sipping on some
Mm-hmm.
scissorup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
there you
If I had
go.
a day left, yeah,
Get some
absolutely.
codeine.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
Yeah.
that's I learned it from what Chasing the Dragon, probably a movie.
Oh, okay.
They called it that in a
Swamp people.
movie. Yeah, well, could have been. So that was a whole. I think that was like a whole TV show on like A&E or something like
Okay,
that.
it does sound familiar. I've just
Yeah,
never watched it.
yeah. I mean,
So
it's just fun. It's just if I remember right, they were just following a bunch of people that live down in like where gators
Louisiana
are.
or
I was gonna say
something.
Louisiana.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's very swampy.
yeah. And they would go around. They just hunt alligators, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how they made their money. But it's a very competitive market down there. So
Mm,
like you can set traps and things like that, but people will go
mm-hmm.
pick your traps and all that, and then you have to
Oh,
go like
not cool.
hunt them down almost, and try to find who's
Yeah.
like cutting your stuff.
And then hide them in the swamp. And then I'll watch the
Well,
documentary
that's
about you
kind of
while I
what they
get my
went.
nails done.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like if you get lost in the swamp, like there's so many. Not only would it be hard to find the body in a swamp just because of the vegetation, but they say that because of all the animals
Yeah.
in the swamp as well, like
Yep.
your body would be gone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just read a book about that. I listened to a podcast called Morbid, and then one of
Mm,
the co-hosts wrote a book called Butcher and the Wren,
cool. Okay.
and that's what the butcher did, is he'd put them in
Nice.
the swamps.
Smart.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. But
That is
he
really
did get
smart.
them. They were found eventually, so they didn't like go all the way away, but
Well, was he doing
mostly.
crystal meth?
No, not this guy.
That was his fault. He would
He
have been
was
on
like
top
an
of things.
executive at like a firm, and he was had a secret life.
Oh, so he had his life put together,
Hmm.
other than the murdering.
Hmm. And did you see my video that about the serial killer that was in Salem? That not
No.
lives,
Wait, what?
lived.
How
Did
did
you
I
ever
miss that
see me?
video?
I made a TikTok and I made a reel saying I'm driving by the
Oh,
house. Yeah.
I did see that.
Did you realize what that was
I
about
did
at
not.
all? Okay. So in Morbid, I
Mhm.
was listening to because they do a lot of true crime. Some of it's paranormal, so it's like a awesome mix. They'll throw in like a stalker story or like learning more about Dracula, or like they'll throw some other fun stuff in there.
That's really cool.
75% or 80% of it is true crime. And so one of the episodes that came out recently called The Shoe Fetish Killer,
Okay.
this guy is featured on many like True Detective, which is fictional, but like they have the actual characters. Well, I guess it's not fictional. It is uh taken from like basically in the 80s is when there were a few detectives that were trying to start like the homicide department
Oh,
of FBI. I'm quite sure. It's
that's
been a
pretty
few years
cool.
since it came out. So this is about their lives. So I guess it was taken from a true story. But anyways, and then they interview different serial killers that were in prison, and one of them was this guy. So he appears in movies, shows, not him himself, the actors playing him. Anyways, so a lot of people, and so I knew who he was, and I was like, oh cool, they're coming out with the episode about it. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So turns out he lived in Salem, and like
What?
his family moved up. They lived a few states. He moved here when he was a kid, and then part of his adult life he spent a little time in Portland, but most of his crimes were committed in Salem in like the 70s, I think. Like late 60s to the 70s. And so he was you'd have to listen to it. You can also read up on him. He was like obsessed with shoes. A lot of his crimes and murders were committed like if and he would always notate their shoes. Did he like their shoes? Did he murder them because of the shoes caught his eye? Like a lot of the crimes were centered around shoes.
Wow. Could you imagine that you got killed
Oh
because you had
yeah.
really cool shoes? Like,
Yeah.
we love shoes. We're fashion
Heels
people.
specifically, so I'd be dead.
Yeah.
So,
Be cool.
but it was wild to listen to them talk about Corvallis and him dumping bodies in the Willamette River and like the downtown area where it used to be Meyer and Frank, and so now I think it's Macy's.
Mm-hmm.
The parking garages there, he would target women in the parking garages that I have parked in. Like
Yeah.
it was very weird to like learn. And so I was like, man, and like they talked about he had a basement in his house, he owned it. He had a wife and a couple kids, and so then while they were upstairs, he would like have these women chained downstairs in his basement, and he would be just like slicing them up and like doing all this crazy stuff, and they had no idea, like the wife and the kids.
You must have had some type of soundproofing
Mhm. Yeah.
to be able to do that,
Yes.
right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, it was like all he made it silent.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
And
had to have.
so, yeah, and
Crazy.
I know,
I
and
mean,
he
of
had
course it is,
tools
but
down here because he'd like string them up by things. He had tools, so he might have also said like, "I'm gonna work on this and that," and there were sounds. But
right.
anyway, so four of them were slaughtered in his basement, but he had many more crimes committed, both murders and not, just like all over Oregon.
Part of me always wonders about like, did the family not know, or did they? Are they all psychos? You know what I
His
mean?
family? Oh
Yeah,
no,
like
they didn't
maybe not the
know.
kids, but
Yeah.
the wife. I'm like,
No, but it was an abusive relationship, so he restricted her in many, many ways.
oh,
So like he would do a lot of it when she was like visiting family with the kids, but he literally talked about how they would be upstairs through some of them.
yeah,
Wild, huh?
that's wild.
Yeah.
That's-
And it was 3 stories, so like maybe they were in the top floor. I don't
okay,
know. I
well,
don't
and that
know.
can make sense. And there's, I mean, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's ways you could do it.
But if you've been in those old houses built in like 1920, you can't hear through the walls. You
They're thick.
cannot hear,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
built
the
well.
basement. I mean, it's very different than modern houses. Very
Absolutely.
different. And so I did some digging to try to find the house that he lived in Salem with that basement, and I found it. And so then I drove by it and made a reel. And I
I
also
remember
threw it on
seeing,
TikTok.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember seeing
we
you
drove
drive by a
by
house. You're
it.
like, this is the
Ooh,
house.
creepy.
Yeah,
And
now that makes
so
more
it's
sense.
literally you right down Center Street. You can see it right there.
That's cool.
And it's pretty worn down. It was built in, oh, this one was built in the 40s.
Okay.
And then he started everything in the late 60s. But yeah, I don't know why I thought of that, but yeah.
Well,
Oh, the podcast.
yeah, we were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, not cool, but
Not
also
cool.
cool.
I mean, I felt like some of the times when we were walking from our parking garage to the fight, we might have,
Hmm.
like, when we
I wouldn't
walked
have done
by,
that. I wouldn't have walked out alone. That was like,
yeah. No, I don't blame you. Well, up until like we walked by that one guy, he's like, "Hey, man, hey, come on over here. We need to get some crack." And I was like, "Okay, yep, just keep
like
going.
right there.
Just
Like, let's do
keep
that.
going."
Was like, yeah,
Yeah.
right there. Oh my
And it
gosh.
makes me like the like I understand this is the one thing about so I carry, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the fact that sometimes with these like events you can't carry inside.
Yeah.
Because now like
Did
the
you ever
one
get that
time I
back out of
need
my
it,
glove box, by the
yeah,
way?
yeah, it's on me
Okay,
right now.
good. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's one of the to be an owner of that, you need to always know where it's at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's you can't just leave it
Good
somewhere.
job.
Yeah. But uh but that's like I feel like the time we need it
Mm-hmm.
is when we're walking to our event or from our event. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's the
because
one time we
that's
can't have it.
downtown Portland.
Yeah,
Like,
that
ooh,
was like
I
like
know.
there were a lot of nice people out as well.
Yeah.
They were, you know, and that was that also made me feel safe. Like when
Right.
we
The
were walking back,
crowd.
yeah, you had the
Mm-hmm.
whole crowd,
Yep.
and I feel pretty confident overall, like in a lot of different ways. But I mean,
Yeah.
there are everybody. There's always somebody who's bigger,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or some where they slip someone. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
You never
Mm-hmm.
know.
You never know.
hmm
But what'd you think of the fight night?
I loved it. I
Yeah.
had such a blast. Like, I thought it was really cool. Like, it almost felt like we were in one of those movies. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like the whole setup, how it had
Mm-hmm. It felt
the
very underground.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the exact word I was trying to look for.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
It was
felt very
super
underground,
cool.
but like in the best way.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical just like giant open stadium. Like
No.
it was very much like everyone was like tight knit and there weren't very many people.
No.
It because there wasn't very much room. Like it was
Right.
kind of like limited seating. It was packed and everyone was like right there and it was like crazy energy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it was great how they have like the balcony
Yeah.
area as well. I think that
I mean,
was
there were still hundreds of
perfect
people in
seating.
there, but it
Oh,
just was like,
tons.
it didn't, I've been to just like big, wide open ones, and, it's just a very different vibe for sure.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
when you're in a excuse me, when you're in a coliseum or even a
I've been to the
like the
one at the
Moda Center or whatever, yeah,
armories. Yeah, both
even the
center.
Armory is
Hmm.
bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like just big and open, big warehouse
Right.
type feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where this one is still a big room, but it was smaller. After you have the ring and
Hmm.
everything, it felt more like a church. Like, did you see the stage behind the ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
almost like I remember
Well,
like
because they have concerts there.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I remember growing up and going to church, and we had a stage in our church and the
Hmm.
gymnasium, and it almost
Hmm.
felt similar to that kind of feel. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like a
Okay.
smaller, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Again, like it
Yeah.
felt very underground. I loved it. Like I would go back to another
Yeah.
one
That
like
was
next
cool.
week. Like yeah, and I thought how funny like we got the seats and then we happened to be still sitting by people that I ended up like that I work out with and we're all there to
That's so
support the same guy.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then really cool to meet the people behind us as well.
Uh-huh.
They were very interesting and fun to talk to and to
Yeah.
possibly even like go out and meet up with them, at
Yep.
some point
Yep.
and see that salon and cut out of there.
Yeah, you're making friends with everybody.
That's what I do. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, well, and you do the same. Like that's the nice thing is that when we go out that I know that it's gonna be very it's always knocking my mic. It's gonna be very easygoing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
That everybody will be friendly, that I know that like you're friendly as well, and that you'll talk to people because with my tism sometimes I just talk to people. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And just
Whether they like it or not. No, I'm just
exact
kidding.
yeah, they're like,
Everybody
why
likes
is this guy
it.
talking to me?
Like, no,
No,
everybody likes it. It's great.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that is the one thing. Like, I can read a "Don't talk to me" face. It's like, oh, okay, yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right, right,
like,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, I'll definitely start the conversation still. Like, and
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, I like your shirt. And they're like, what? Who are you? Okay, well, thanks. Yeah, I like your shirt too. You know.
So awesome.
But and that was the cool thing about like the crowd is that since it was so close and tight knit,
Hmm.
that we had a really, I mean, there was a good energy, there was a good feel. Like even people are making jokes. Like there were some guys to our back right
Oh, that was
that
so
just kept yelling
funny.
stuff.
I
Yeah,
know,
they were
just random.
hilarious. And then how people started chanting, like apparently that guy, the machine,
Yeah, he
he
had
must be
quite the
known, right?
following.
Because everybody just the machine.
That was I think that was the most violent, almost bloody anyways. Like, because their
Yeah.
bodies were covered head to toe in each other's blood.
Oh yeah,
So
by
that was
far.
the bloodiest, bloodiest. I swear, I can say my S's.
Yeah. I
Side
just
note, I used to have a lisp and I went to
Oh
speech
really?
therapy for it.
Oh, how funny.
I know.
Not that you had not to make fun of lists,
It was
but
kind of
just that,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
because
makes
I know
sense.
I had to work for a couple of years on how to get rid of that.
Okay.
Anyways, oh yeah, but that one guy that got his nose broken and blood was everywhere for that one.
Everywhere.
And the other guy kept going back for the nose the whole time,
Dude,
which is like, oh my gosh.
I started feeling that.
I felt
Every
bad
hit
because
after that, it was
they
like,
all had such
oh.
little pretty faces. I'm like, give them 5 years. They're going to just not, they're going to be like Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. They're gonna be beat up. Yeah,
What?
talking about their cauliflower ear and
I
everything. Well, that's more
know.
wrestling and stuff, I guess.
Anyways,
Well,
but
MMA does wrestling,
yeah,
but
I mean, I guess if you
yeah.
get whacked hard enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They were doing ear boxes or whatever you call
Oh
it.
yeah, hitting
What's
each
it
other.
called? Yeah,
Well,
boxing
yeah,
your ear.
boxing your ear. Well, that's when you hit somebody like
Okay.
that, you
So just
box in their
punching,
ear.
I guess, then.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Which
yeah.
still hurts. I mean, like you're not supposed to necessarily hit
Why do
somebody in the
ears
ear.
hurt so much? They just do.
Yeah, I think maybe it's there must be a lot of
Nerves or whatever.
nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say sensory. I
I
was like,
mean,
that's not right. Which is,
it
I mean,
turns into that,
it
but
turns
yeah.
into that. But yeah, all the nerves. And then I know just when you hit it, because it's made to take in vibrations, right? So you're causing an insane vibration
Mhm.
so close.
Yeah.
The only thought process. You can pop your ears by hitting somebody and boxing them like that. You can actually
Oh,
pop
like
the
the
eardrum.
eardrum? Oh,
Yeah.
I believe it. You
And you
can
can,
from an ear infection.
it's not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not very strong. They're definitely not meant for anything like that.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, but yeah, the machines fight was definitely like
Well, and they both popped each other in the nose. So they both were
oh
bleeding.
yeah. It
You
was
know what I
just I mean,
mean?
and
Like,
that just goes everywhere.
yeah,
It
that was a really
just
good back and forth fight. Like he definitely the
yeah.
machine definitely
Ooh.
won.
Yeah.
But like
It's
they both
close. I
got some
mean,
good hits in.
and
Like,
then at the end, did you see the paramedics had to come in for the other guy because he couldn't get up for a while? I think he was
yeah.
probably half knocked out, you know?
Right. And these were heavyweights too. So I mean
Yeah.
they were putting
Oh,
all their energy out. You could tell
how
by the end
much,
of it.
what was their weight? I don't think I
Oh
paid
man.
attention.
They were in the two, like over two.
Mm-hmm.
Like cuz the guy before them,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about how they didn't look that much bigger and they were
Mm-hmm.
195.
Yeah.
And
So these
so
guys
these
were
guys had
like
to be in,
275, probably.
I mean
One of
probably.
them, the
Yeah.
machine. Yeah. Heavyweight. Those were
Heavyweights.
some heavy
Throwing some
swings,
heavy
heavy body
hands.
slams, like,
Yeah.
oh,
That
painful.
was cool too. The
Oh,
body slams. Oh, what
that
about
was
the one
wild.
guy who just totally grabbed him and just picked him up and just
I got that on video.
boom?
That was
That was so
wild.
awesome.
Yeah. I actually
Yeah.
got a video of that guy jumping up and doing the foot thing in the air on the
Yeah.
other guy's like
Like kicking
face or
him? Is
whatever.
that the
Yeah,
foot
like
thing?
he jumped up and then kicked.
Yeah.
Like in the air, like you see in a movie.
Oh,
I was like, oh my
absolutely.
gosh. Like most of the time it was just like a kick, like you put one leg up and kick them, like
Right.
kickboxing.
Yes.
This guy like jumped in the air and went ding like a rabbit on
No,
the
he
other
went
guy
hardcore.
and
Yeah.
knocked him down. I was like, that's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would literally break my neck. First of all, I couldn't jump that high.
Whatever. You're tougher than
I
that. You do
probably
Krav
would not
Maga. You
make
get thrown around. You could do it.
I like couldn't make contact probably. I mean, obviously with practice anyone can do anything. But right
Yes.
now I definitely like and then I would just fall. I guess he fell
I
too, but
believe
he
that
was
though.
fine. I'm like, what's going on?
Okay, who are you kicking though? Let's talk this out. So, are you kicking a grown man? Like, were you talking about the machine? You're gonna like jump and try to jump kick him
No, I'd be running.
because you would probably bounce off.
I could outrun him. So I'd be
Yes,
running.
you would outrun him,
I
no
would just
problem.
run. Yeah.
See, and then once he's tired, go back and jump kick him
No.
because he's
I
gonna
would
be
keep running.
like wavering.
I would not turn back around. I would be running.
Like, I'm out of there.
Yeah,
I'm out of
nope.
there.
He takes one m- mild punch on his end and then my lights are out.
And that's the truth of it. I used to box guys bigger than me in high school and in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
And you find out real quick that reach and strength has a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do with something,
Right.
you know?
Oh,
Because I was
yeah.
like, I'm like 5'10". I'm not a huge guy, right? I'm the average area, but I
Right.
have a lot of friends who are over 6 foot.
And their
Like a
arms are
lot of
so
them,
long.
they're so long.
Like, even if you're the same strength, if their
Hmm.
arms are longer, that's an
They
advantage.
keep you out. Yeah, you have to learn how to get in without getting
Mm-hmm.
hit, right? And if you're quick, you can duck and dodge. And that's where like wrestling came in because you can, if you're MMA, you
Mm-hmm.
can get in quick on them and hit them. But if you're just having to keep on your feet, they've
Mm-hmm.
got you. I remember I was boxing my buddy James, and I was doing pretty good. I was getting some hits in, and I
Mm-hmm.
was quicker than him, and I was dodging him, and he wasn't hitting me, and I felt like really cocky, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I woke up
Uh,
because he got one. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He just got the right one. Like, and I just
Yeah.
remember being like, "What
All it
happened?"
takes. Yeah.
Yeah, like what happened? They're like, "James got you. I got you good."
And if
Yeah.
it had been a real fight, you
Oh
maybe
yeah.
wouldn't have woken up.
Well, it would have been, yeah, I would have handled myself differently too, though. Because
Yeah.
with boxing, you can't go to the ground,
Yeah.
right? I can't do any of that, like Krav Maga, wrestling, any of that
Yeah.
stuff. You have to. There's
Yeah. So
rules,
you were
right?
only
We were
boxing.
only
Yeah. Yeah.
boxing
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
time,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was,
That's
but
all it
that's
was.
that's where I feel confident in a street fight. Not again, not that there's anybody like there's people who could beat me up all day.
Hmm.
I'm not the biggest or
We
baddest
always have
person,
people better and worse than us. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But a street fight, there aren't rules,
Yeah. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so, and
It's
I,
like, oh, that's not allowed, sir.
right, yeah,
Drop your
drop that knife,
You drop it. Like
right?
a to a
You
dog.
stop that. You disqualified. You are
Yeah.
disqualified from the street fight,
And then
sir.
they're like, oh man, you're right. My bad.
The ref jumps out from the bushes. Oh, disqualified. You are DQ. Get him out of
Man,
here.
I
Yeah,
wish it was like that.
that'd be so. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I feel because I know my determination,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and to go home, and so and that's where it comes out. But and that's one thing I liked about doing Krav Maga is that whole mentality,
Hmm.
and that it
Right.
wasn't to hurt it wasn't out of it to hurt anybody. It
Right.
was about getting home.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
appreciate that.
That actually, the podcast I mentioned is the reason I even started Krav,
Really.
because there was a story about a mom. She had some kids, just like she was home with her kids,
Hmm.
and she didn't own a gun or anything. She
Hmm.
was just like home with her kids, and there was an intruder with a gun, and he broke in, and the kids ran out of the house, but she did not escape him.
Okay.
So he had her trapped, and he had the gun, and he was about to, who knows, do what, who knows what. But she had been taking Krav Maga for years, and she kicked out his knees and got out using those moves and was able to escape
Girl,
the house and get to her kids and
that's
escape
awesome.
him. And none of them, you know, died, obviously.
Yeah.
But she probably would have, or something. And so I just remember listening to that, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I had someone attacking me, I would have zero, like literally zero skills in any way at all. And so I just remember thinking, like, that's not good. I never thought of that,
Right.
like, because that has never happened to me before. But I
Right.
listened to it, and I'm like, dang, like, I owe it to not only myself, but my kids to be able to, like, at least die trying, and like
Agreed.
have some sort of like some skills to at least try.
Mhm.
Whereas instead of just being like, I don't know what to do, I wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
And so that's why I've been doing it. It's about a year and a half now, a little more than that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's
And
from the podcast actually.
I love what you said, like not only for you, but for your kids. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
parents, right? Like
Yeah.
we owe it to our kids to go home,
Right.
or at least try to,
Right.
our best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we would fight for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
in our life is for them as well. So why would
Mm-hmm.
we not fight for our own?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I burn the world for my son.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean that in like a horrible way or anything, but
You
he's just
do.
who,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's who means the most.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Um, and getting home, like I love that. That's awesome. What
Mm-hmm.
you said as well, kicking the knees out, that was so smart of her. That's one of the things that makes me feel confident towards guys who are bigger, like in a
Mm-hmm.
fight, right? That's the difference between like I was talking about with boxing and a
Yes.
fight. Like there's
Yes.
certain things like I don't care how big you are. If I
Yeah.
break your knee,
Yeah.
if I kick out your knee,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be very tall anymore.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, you learn all those
But you need to
things
know how to
to
do it as well.
use
Yeah.
if you need to, and yeah, you have to learn how to do it the right way, and you
Right.
have to learn what will someone do once you do that, because they can still cause damage in other ways.
100%. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't just do that and be like, "You're gonna go down and not do anything." Like,
Right.
no.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not Hollywood, right? Like we were talking about on our run um on Sunday, like it was you see these guys at the back to the box, the fights we watched, they're getting
Mhm.
hit over and over
Yeah.
again and they're still getting up and trying. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
Mhm.
shows you like it's not just as easy as okay,
Mhm.
run off,
I know.
one hit in the face. Yeah,
Yeah, that was super intense, but it was really fun,
it was so
and we
great.
definitely need to find the next one to go to
The next
because
one,
that's just so much fun.
yeah, I
Yeah.
want to do more. So I've already got like goals. I'm gonna try
Mhm.
if we find a similar environment like last
Mhm.
time, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to start betting people around us.
Oh
Like on who's gonna win,
yeah.
be like, "Do you
That's
know anybody
cool.
here?" Like, okay, like see if
Yeah.
they have the insights.
Right, exactly. That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that'd be fun. Just because it was really, I don't know, I love that we could talk to everybody, just have fun. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna have to do that a lot more. That was so much. I had such a blast.
Yeah,
Um,
that was good.
and then yeah, so and then yeah, let's see. It was fun to come home, kind of change gears a little bit as well. I
Mhm.
know that like I'm really stressing out about like I'm a little behind on my Christmas shopping this year
Mhm.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
How are you doing like on yours?
I am like dialed in.
Yeah? That's awesome.
So last year I didn't do so every year I'm
Okay.
dialed in. I'm like I
Yeah.
had a schedule, I got it down. And then last year I didn't. I don't
Okay.
remember why. Well, I guess I do. Last holiday season was really tough in the real estate market, so I
Okay.
was like putting in crazy hours just to like, make sure I'm getting enough clients, closing my deals,
Absolutely
taking
being
good care of
proactive.
everyone, and also leading the team. And so I just was overworked. And so it was stressful and I like had to shop last minute. And then that means you pay whatever price is in the store. Like you've probably missed the sales. So if it's even left in the store, you're paying whatever price, full price. No one's going to like do a magical discount the week before Christmas because they know people will pay full price because
Oh,
they're
100%.
desperate for that thing. And so it's essentially just a huge waste of money and you're stressed. But I ended up just putting together some ideas for people that would be fun to share if that's okay.
Yeah, I'd love to hear them.
On like preparing for Christmas.
Yeah,
There's
that'd be great.
three. Yeah.
I'm usually pretty good about being ahead of time, but like
Mhm.
I need some help, so I would love to hear.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
there's so I call it the 3 L's. The second and third L will come in handy for you
Okay.
or anyone that's listening that's like, "Oh crap, Christmas is next week."
Yes.
Good for last minute and good for budget.
Awesome.
The first L is just for next year. It's what I do most years. It's what I did this year. So if you are not prepared, like just remember it for
Okay.
next year because it definitely helps. But the first L is lead the pack. So getting ahead of other people that are shopping. So essentially in October, you make a list of everybody and to include all of the parties that you go to that are white elephant gift
That's really
because
smart.
those suckers are $25-$30. If they're like, oh, $25 limit and you go to four, I mean, that's $100.
Right.
And like that adds up fast. I did six like gift exchange parties this year. Not just me, my whole family.
Wow.
Think of how much money that is.
Yeah. Because each
A
person
whole
has to have a
lot.
gift.
They don't have to, but it's
If
like
they're gonna
all the
play though,
kids want
yeah.
to, and Mike
Absolutely.
wants to. And so we could do just one. And so that's a great option for if you're on a budget, but it's fun too. So that's why I started
Mhm.
early and like planning for those. And then if you're like paycheck to paycheck, which many are, like
Absolutely.
you can then chip away every 2 weeks or whatever, or every week.
Okay.
And then you have the ability to watch for the best sale because you have 2.5 months to do it, 3 months. And then also, if you keep the list top of mind, it's like anytime you go somewhere, you can like snag one, especially if you see like it's sale.
Okay.
So that's the best is to lead the pack by starting in October. You also can stick to your budget. better because you're not desperately scooping up things the week before Christmas.
That makes a lot of sense
So,
too.
so that's the best one, obviously. But if it's too late for 2024, if anyone hasn't already utilized that,
Right.
so the next L is to leverage. So essentially, if you hate gift shopping, if you don't have time for gift shopping, if it's just not something you enjoy, then it makes sense to leverage that out to someone or something.
Okay.
So,
Like
you
having an
can,
assistant buy the gifts for you
if you
or
have an assistant, or you can pay someone that wants extra Christmas money,
yeah,
you just give them your list of people
smart. Yeah.
and be like, I'll kick you an extra $5 per thing that you get, or a total of $30, or like whatever you agree on.
Right.
It saves you time. I mean, like, how much is one of your haircuts?
Mine, you're looking anywhere from 40 to $55.
Yeah. So say you pay someone $55 for
Mm-hmm.
all of your Christmas shopping. They just got themselves a couple gifts, that some money in their pocket. And
Right.
and with imagine like you would have been shopping for maybe 4 hours for all of those things. So I mean that's four haircuts or yeah, like four haircuts.
No,
And that's
absolutely.
two
That's
hundred
smart.
dollars in your pocket. Like,
Yeah.
so that's the leverage. Also, if you have a friend or family member that's just like loves Christmas shopping, it's what they live for, then they'll do it for you. They'll just do it for you typically,
Right.
for free or, a little bit of money.
That's
And
smart.
then, yeah, and then there's lots of things that I do, but like I guess the third main thing is just giving your list to someone that sells like Pamper Chef or Scentsy or any of those. Like they can personally curate a gift for each person on your list because both of those
That's smart.
companies and many more like product like lines, that have the representatives, they have items that both men, women, children, like all anybody would like them.
Yeah, they can get everything across the board.
Yeah, and then a lot of times they'll wrap it for you or whatever.
That's
So
a really smart idea.
boom.
And I like that because not only are you not celebrating somebody, but using somebody for their business that's local,
Yeah.
right? And we're putting money in
Yeah.
pockets, somebody we
Supporting.
know,
Yeah.
supporting.
Hmm.
And then also
Yeah.
you're covering it all in one place, which
Yeah.
is great. Those are
Just give
really
them the
smart
list.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are three that work well if you hate Christmas shopping or you don't have time.
Yeah. My mom, usually the first one you said, I usually try to buy all year round. And
Uh-huh.
I stole that from my mom a couple years back when I was having a hard year, uh,
Yeah.
buying presents for Lyle and I
Mm-hmm.
felt like a really bad parent, right? Because I couldn't get
Mm-hmm.
him everything I wanted to get him.
Right.
And I remember talking to my mom and being like, "You guys had 7 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have 1. How
Mm-hmm.
did you do it?"
Yeah.
Because we didn't like we got a lot of things like underwear and like new
Yeah.
toothbrushes and toothpaste and stuff like that. Like where
Right.
I know other kids were getting like Xboxes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, though, I can tell you wholeheartedly, none of my Christmases I felt like I didn't get
Yeah.
stuff though. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Right.
the Christmas tree was packed. Like I still felt
Oh,
great.
that's
Like
so cool.
yeah, And so I remember being an adult being like, "How did you guys do that?"
Uh,
And that's
yeah.
what she said. So to your credit, she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I buy all year round, like I get ahead of the
Mm-hmm.
game, right?"
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
yeah,
So true.
that's so smart. I think those are all really
Yeah.
good things. And as somebody who just brought on assistants recently to scan in
Mm-hmm.
all my receipts for my business and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Right.
Your leverage of time ratio of what
Mm-hmm.
it when you can actually be making money and what it costs, right?
Yeah.
To spin it out. And those are all really good
Mhm.
ideas.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are common sense, but they work really well. And it's just good to keep
Right.
the methods top of mind. So,
Absolutely.
um, and then the third one is last minute hacks. So, just some hacks that work really well are pretty much like you just want one or two clicks and then you have a gift. So, like
Right.
one Shutterfly right now has a photo book it's on sale for $13.
Oh,
You
cool.
upload photos and click, and then it gets sent
And this is
out.
like
It's
a
really
printed photo
beautiful.
book?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
And of
deal.
course, you can go to someone's Instagram and pull their photos or
Right.
use your own or whatever. So that's a really good one. You can ask for people's Amazon wish list. It's digital, boom, click their gift.
Done.
And then there's a lot of just affordable gifts, which I have a list for that if anyone wants it. But like what they start at 16 cents and then goes up to $5. Really
Wow.
great Christmas gifts. An
Cool.
example of one that's 250, kind of right in the middle, is just going to the dollar store, getting a mug, fill it with candy, do a nice card, bam. Like It's like
That's a great one.
250. Like
Yeah.
everybody would like that,
Yeah.
or like just
Absolutely.
gifts in bulk. Like just go on Amazon, you type in bulk gifts.
Well, I
You
think a lot of
you
people,
know.
it's just about being thought about.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
somebody actually does get angry about like what you gave
Then
them,
are they really your friend? Do
that's
they
what I'm
actually
saying.
care about you? Like
Yeah.
no.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, those are all
Yeah.
such good ideas.
So, anyway, so it's been kind of fun like helping people with that this year. And the
That's very
last
cool.
two ones you can start now, the week before Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna steal some of those. I still have to fill out Lyle's stocking bag, like a
Yeah.
little bag now
Mhm. Yep.
instead of an actual stocking.
Yeah.
But
I will say Fred Meyer, who I don't normally go to Fred Meyer
hmm
because it's not the lowest prices out there.
right.
For groceries, I typically do Winco because for 6 people, it gets pretty crazy. So I do
Absolutely.
Winco. And then for whatever else is like, Amazon and Walmart. But Fred Meyer has some great, huge sales, discounts, just deals going on right now. And a lot of them are stocking stuffer type
That's cool.
items.
I'll have to swing
So
through there
swing by
then.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know I think he's getting I think he said his mom might be getting him like a new Oculus or something like that. So I know I was thinking about getting him like some games and
Dang.
stuff like
Those are
that.
like $400, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, her father helps out
It's
with that
nice.
stuff,
I was
which is
like,
great.
I wanted to get one for our kids, but maybe next year.
Yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah,
I've
they
debated
are
getting one
so
as well,
cool.
just so like he and I can play games while
Oh,
he's at his
that's
mom's
so
house.
cool.
And then also like
They are awesome. Like they're worth it 100%.
they really are.
They're
Well,
just a chunk of
what
change.
I want it for, and I'm not even gonna lie about it, is that like I I mean, and my mind does like the sounds like really sad, but I don't mean to say like I watch a lot of movies alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, right. And so it's like oh that sounds so bad, but like the Oculus gives you like 170-inch screen. It's like watching a movie theater movie because
Whoa. Can you
the
watch any
screen's right
movie on
there.
it?
Yeah, you can watch all
How?
kind like so they've got apps just like you can download Netflix on it and stuff like
It'd be
that.
so funny to walk in on you and you're just like laying there with the Oculus on your face, like really still.
Yeah, just like hanging out. Like,
Oh, I
well,
feel like that'd
I
be
would
very
do that
funny.
too. I put on like Bluetooth headphones. I'd have my Oculus on,
Like
and I would just be
if you
immersed.
had an intruder.
Ah, yep.
To me,
Well,
like, I
so
don't
that's
know.
that's the other side of things. Like, I would worry about like, so I'm the guy who
You
still
need
brings my gun into the bathroom with me when I shower,
like a
and so
string on your ankle tied to the
yeah.
doorknob or something.
What if it burns? What if they climb through the window? See, I'm just gonna have to get
Yeah.
like so this is the other side of it. Like I'm gonna have to get those little like you had these like your door opens and it goes beep
Oh
beep,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
what I'll have to do. But if I
Yeah.
have Bluetooth headphones on, I won't hear it.
Yeah,
Mm,
is it worth it? I
right.
mean, the odds are really low. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the odds that it would be in
Listen,
that exact second?
the odds are never zero that you'll
I
get
know,
attacked by a
especially if
ninja
it's at
penguin.
night or
Yeah,
in the middle of the night or something.
it's true.
You could probably do it from 6 to 8 safely.
That's yeah. Well, or early morning. Studies
hmm
show crime doesn't wake up very early. So
Yeah, they're like up all night. They gotta sleep
exactly. They
in,
got to
man.
sleep in. Yep. So,
Yeah.
but it's so
Uh,
dumb.
I know.
But
It's
you're
true.
right though. Now I'm all like, okay, so I have to barricade myself in. Well,
Do you
Oculus is out.
need Bluetooth headphones? Like, can you just
No, I
use
mean you could
regular,
use
like, do nice little speaker?
right, but
It's
I mean,
fine.
but if you're gonna immerse, yeah, like that, because then like now, you're talking about like there's all the other like audio you're hearing from the room and like maybe the
Yeah.
cars or the people outside,
See,
right,
I
and stuff
get
like that.
like I literally get so stressed out if I don't hear audio
Do
like
do you not ever
around me
wear
for
like
awareness.
not to interrupt, sorry, but
No, go.
do you ever wear headphones like to listen to music though, like while you're
No.
cleaning or anything
No,
like
because I
that?
don't want to miss anything.
So yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only time, so when I use them is in the morning while everyone's sleeping, but everyone's
hmm
home and like Mike's
Right.
probably up and I'm just doing like yoga and I'll turn it on because I'm listening to the person on YouTube.
Right.
So
And the
that I'll do
instructions.
that. Um,
And you
mm,
don't like
oh,
the
and if I'm having Zoom calls and I don't want anyone interrupting me.
that makes sense.
It's pretty much just those because I
Yeah.
don't want to walk down the
Well, and
road with them
podcasting.
because what if there's a car? Yeah, we're podcasting, but I have you and you're carrying,
Right,
so
right.
I'm not
No,
like,
you're totally fine. Yeah,
yeah, I don't
we're
even
down in
like
the back
walking
gate.
down the road. I definitely don't drive. I
Mhm.
mean, it stresses me out. It makes me so anxious
You
to
should never
not
drive with
hear if there's
headphones
a
in. That's
threat
a
coming.
horrible. Yeah, yeah.
People do.
I know it blows my
Mike
mind.
does.
What?
I won't let him do it when the kids are in the car, but he does.
Why though? I mean,
hmm
you have a radio. You guys have nice cars with
hmm
radios.
He just listens to his audiobooks. Not all the time, but
No,
he
yeah.
does
And I'm
it.
not judging. I'm just curious. That's just my
I
curiosity.
know.
I'm like,
And down
couldn't you
the
put it through
road
your
and he's like
car?
crossing busy roads with them and like what if somebody like you can't hear if there's a car. Like you need all your
Yeah.
senses at that point cuz it all it takes is like getting hit and you're toast.
Oh, absolutely. I
So
get
I don't
that.
risk it. A lot of people just do.
Running wise,
Running what?
and
When
like, are
you
you
or I
talking
are running?
Yeah, like even like when you run or
If
walk or anything?
no, I don't. I've done it with you on the trail
Well,
a
that's
few
different
times and that I mean, but if
because we
I'm
don't have to worry about
alone
cars
or
and
I'm
everything with
somewhere where
me.
there's a physical threat or there could be, and especially if I'm alone, I do not.
That's what I was curious about. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know like it makes sense when you and I are together and we're running in Woodmansea, or
Mhm.
wherever.
Yeah.
Um,
We've never ran there in our
no, I
entire
said
lives.
it, and I was like, that's not even a place we've
We have
ran.
like never ran there.
Uh, that's so brown. Don't know why I said Woodmansea.
Uh,
Um, that's where I hide the bodies. But
like, oh shoot,
yeah, I
gave
was like,
away my spot.
well, I just outed myself. So, but so so stupid. Like, what am I even saying? But I know we've done it there, but that's a
We're
safer
gonna go to
area.
Central Park.
Exactly. Yeah, Central Park. One day I would actually,
We could do the Oculus and then try to run around with it.
I mean, yeah, on a, like a treadmill.
Oh
I wonder if that would
yeah.
work.
They need that for the Peloton.
Because the new Oculuses actually have a system where they can make an AR system. You can still see. They have cameras in the front, so you can still see
Mm-hmm.
everything, but they can make it so you see the
No.
extra stuff too, though. And
Whoa.
you can put like even
Can you
like
see like demons?
you could, so you can put skins on the world. So you can
Yes.
make it look medieval around you. It'll
Mm-hmm.
skin everything and put
That's
like brick and
cool.
stuff. Like I watched like a whole like demonstration on it.
Yeah.
So then like you could walk around your room, but
Uh-huh.
then have demons pop up or crazy stuff
Yeah.
like that
Oh,
if
that'd
you
be good
wanted.
for a Renaissance fair,
That would be.
right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
It kind of makes me think about like, will how far will this go? Like, have you seen Ready Player One?
No.
Okay, so you got to watch that
Okay.
first off.
Okay.
So it ruins my whole conversation. No, I'm just joking. But no, it's about essentially it's about the world in the future,
Okay.
and everybody lives in VR.
Mm-hmm.
Like life is just better there,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a dystopian world
Mm-hmm.
now. Like
Yeah.
the real life does kind of just suck.
Yeah.
So everybody is like in this
Whoa,
VR world.
trippy.
And
Yeah.
it kind of makes me wonder if like we'll get there someday
Mm-hmm.
because it is very enticing as somebody
Mm-hmm.
who plays video
Mm-hmm.
games, even a non-video VR
Right.
video game. It can be very like I love story-based games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those I think are very easy to jump into because like uh like for instance, like Mike plays COD, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
into like we've talked about this.
Right.
He's a he's a first-hand shooter kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Those have rounds.
Yes.
They end,
Right.
right?
And you
There's
like a storyline.
right.
What's like an example of a
So
game?
like the last game I played was Fallout Las Vegas.
Okay.
And Fallout has a rich storyline. They even had the show
Well,
recently.
yeah.
And so it's about there was a Fallout, a
Oh
nuclear
yeah, that was a
Fallout,
great
right?
show.
Didn't you love it? So that's why I've told everybody about that. Like
You're
the
right.
great thing
So
about
good.
every game, it doesn't follow one character.
Uh-huh.
So every game has a new character, a new
Ah.
storyline, but they're all the same
Mm-hmm.
world. So even
Yeah.
though you're not following one person, you are still following that world
Mm-hmm.
storyline,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they've done a really good job of building this lore and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. And not a,
That's
and every
cool.
quest has like lore with it too. So even your
Mm-hmm.
side quests are fun,
Right.
right? And you're meeting new characters and they're
Yeah.
talking to you.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you get to just and it's an open world, so you can do any quest at any time
Oh
in
yeah.
any way. There's not like they call it like a rail game. If
Yeah.
you have to do exactly, they keep you on rails. You have to do
Mm-hmm.
exactly what
This
they
isn't
want.
that though.
This is not
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
anytime anybody says open world, that means literally you
Oh.
can do anything at
Yeah.
any time.
That's
Um,
cool.
but it gets crazy because you're just running around doing all this stuff and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you're like, oh, where did the last 5 hours go?
Mm-hmm. I
Like, oh
bet.
my
I bet.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Why was I talking about that? I had something to tie that
Oh,
back to.
AI, you're
Oh,
living in that. Yeah.
that's yeah. So I mean, it's just easy to get stuck in those worlds.
Okay.
And then imagine now, like I'm looking at a screen, so then my world can tear me from that, right? My cat
Mhm.
jumps up, my son walks by,
Yeah.
all of a sudden back to reality. If you're stuck
Mhm.
in the VR side of things, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're literally in that world at that point. There's no
Mhm.
distraction. I bet like I could only like I've played on one. I haven't
Mhm.
owned one yet. So I
Mhm.
could only imagine how addicting it could be,
Yeah.
you know, and how like
Right?
and just looking at like the mentality or the you know, the psychology behind that
Mhm.
and wondering where our future will be with that and
Mhm.
how many people will get like where that how that will shift. If it
Right.
will be something that people live in and
Mhm.
that's like their lives and who they, you know, consider
But
themselves.
physically
They're here. Like I knew a guy, it's
like
already
I
kind
feel
of
like
getting that
that
way.
doesn't last
Well,
necessarily, because what if you're like take care of yourself physically in AI, but you're just sitting there in real life.
well, that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, like your body's going to break down. Like I knew people that like, I have some friends who don't take care of that. Like it happens in
Mhm.
just normal gaming world,
Yeah.
right? Like I knew guys that played World of Warcraft
Mhm.
and they would get like crazy into it, like to the
Yeah.
point where they have jugs for their pee
Yeah.
and stuff because they're not getting up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're just big guys and they're
Yeah.
unhealthy and they have health issues
Yeah, because
because of
you
it.
really should only be doing that a few hours a day.
Right. No, it's not something that you should be
Unless you
doing.
do it for a living, but then you have to, which is
Even
cool,
then though, you
but you
still need
have
to get
to
up and
find,
move.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody needs movement. That's just a
I mean,
baseline.
and same
It
with
doesn't matter
office
who you
work.
are.
If you're sitting
Exactly.
8 hours a day, you have to find a way to,
You have
which is
to.
the event in January, actually.
I
You
know I'm
got to
so
invite
excited.
those guys.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I've been putting it out there. I cannot wait for the
Hmm.
Energize and Elevate. That's a great little segue to that. Like that's gonna be so
Because
much
that
fun.
is a reality. Like many of us are sitting. I'm lucky I
Hmm.
have about 4 to 5 hours sitting, 3 to 4 hours running around,
Yeah.
like for work specifically.
Hmm.
And so I feel kind of lucky. But I've had many years where it's, yeah, 8 hours of sitting, and many people do. If you work for the state, if you
Absolutely.
whatever, like, yeah, that's what it is.
It's
And
the
like,
truth.
how am I going to fit that in if I have a life and children and this and that, and like, how do I fit in exercise and fitness and wellness? Like, it
Right.
feels impossible for
Well,
many.
it can. I
Yeah.
get that. Like it's hard.
Mhm.
You know, I love the saying, you choose your hard.
Yeah.
Life is going
So
to be hard
true.
either way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you choose your hard.
Right.
You either you can have the health issues that come along with not, you know,
Mhm.
working out or doing anything like that. And not to say that if you work out, you're never going to have health issues.
Mhm.
It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not
but
like
it
some
sure
protective,
is less.
but I would agree with you. There are differences. Absolutely. You
Mhm.
know, um, and that is the thing of it. I have guys that come in here and all the time and they'll say, hey, you know, really, you're doing a really good job. You know, I wish I
Mhm.
had the time. And I'm like,
It's like
well,
you
you
do.
do.
You
Yeah,
do.
exactly. It's like you have that we all have the same 24 hours.
Mhm.
Like I get we have different jobs, we have different families. Everybody has different
Mhm.
requirements for their day. I
Mhm.
understand that. But
Yeah.
like there's still times it's just okay, so what are you not willing to sacrifice?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I guarantee you find some time to sit in front of that TV,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
You find
Yeah.
some time to do like something that's like, well, that's my
Yeah.
relaxed time. Well, that's
Yeah.
how I look at the gym,
Yeah.
you know?
Actually, yeah. I mean, similarly to what you just said, like, one of the speakers at Energize and Elevate, Devin,
Hmm.
said recently, because we co-lead a Bible study group with them, and so it
That's
was
awesome.
there that he said, like, a lot of people ask me how I fit it in, and you can see from him, he's like, he's
Oh, he's got
jacked,
an
he's got it
awesome
dialed
body.
in, he probably has every
Yeah.
single element to fitness dialed in. So,
Yes.
and not everybody has, that is just not for everyone. He's the
No,
first one to say
absolutely.
it. Like, it
Yeah.
is not, it comes with sacrifices that, like, I'm not, it is not for me,
I get it. Yeah,
and
same.
I am very, obviously, you and I are both like, but he, because I enjoy balance, I enjoy having cheat meals, I
Hmm.
enjoy spending time with my family, watching shows.
Hmm.
So that's just who I am as a human. But
Absolutely.
I remember him saying, like, people ask him, how do you have time for that? I don't have time for that. And he'll say, well, you technically do. And they'll be like, no, I really don't. And he'll say, what's your favorite show on Netflix?
Hmm.
And they'll be like, oh, well, I've been watching this lately. He goes, exactly. I don't watch Netflix because I don't have time, because I am in the gym during that time when you're
Boom.
watching Netflix. And it just shows, like, it doesn't mean that's, like, for them, but, like, you know,
No, I
it's a
agree though. Don't
trade.
make an
He's like,
excuse.
"Exactly.
Yeah.
There's my point."
Yes, I
And I was
love
like,
that though.
"Damn."
I love it though because he makes such a good point. Like I think the
Yeah.
same thing.
You
Like
choose your hard.
you choose
Yeah.
your hard. Like I wake up in the mornings and go work out, and then next month in January it'll be the 2 days.
Mhm.
We'll be doing the
Well,
morning
actually, I should
workouts.
start that this week, really.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
week, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
And
I mean,
I've started talking
yeah,
to people to help me with my swimming.
nice. Oh, I saw that.
Mhm.
I want to jump in. Like, let me know
Yeah.
how that works. 'Cause
Yeah, I
I need
will. I'll
somebody as
tell you who
well.
I'm talking to
Yeah, I need
because
somebody
I'm like,
also.
I tried to I couldn't figure it out. It's just not my strong suit
Yeah, same.
anymore. I mean, back in the day, I used to, I'm sure no, but that was 20 years ago. So,
Right.
yeah. But I'm like, I'm not going to be gasping for air, floating, barely making the swim this
Yes.
time. I knew I could do it, but it
Mm-mm.
was very hard for me and
Well,
a
and I
little
was in the same boat.
scary. And I didn't know what time frame I should be in.
Mm,
And I guessed, and I was slower.
right.
And I guessed, I thought I guessed slow enough. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not about that. I need to dial that in. And of course, my biking too. So, but
Right.
yeah, next month, like, we'll start training.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting that in. It's good. And the swimming is an area I need to work on as well. So you're not
Mhm.
alone there. That's an area I want to get stronger in because
Yeah.
I mean, while I went a lot slower, it was easier because I purposely took it really slow this last time,
Hmm.
right? And but by the end of it, like I think actually by the time I got to the end of it, I was so excited because I
Yeah.
didn't think I was going to complete it, right?
Yeah.
So for people at home, I was really stressed out when we did the Ironman. The morning of, if we're being completely honest, I didn't think I was going to finish the swim. I
Yeah.
was really stressed out and worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so by the time I got to right at that bend and I
Hmm.
realized I had enough, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I got so excited and filled
Hmm.
of energy. I was like,
That is
there was like,
cool.
oh, we're doing this. Like I picked up
Yeah.
Casey
No.
off the ground. Like I gave her a hug and I lifted her off
Yeah.
the ground
That's
when we got
great.
done. Yeah, like
You're like, I
it
can do
was. I was like,
anything.
I'm all that is man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, biking was my weakest, but swimming was yours.
Yes, by far.
And biking can really mess you up if you crash, but swimming could
Mhm.
drown you. So it's
Yeah,
high. I mean,
it
it's
is
scary.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we lost a guy in the swim this
Hmm.
last year, and so I mean, it is a very serious thing.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, that's what scared me about the swimming is that
Hmm.
not only are there accidents that can happen from people just trying to swim
Right.
past you,
Right.
kicking you in the face, or I got punched and kicked a couple
Yes, me
times.
too.
Yeah, that definitely happened.
Ugh. Yeah.
And so you know what I mean, that can happen, and then you can get knocked out or something from that, and that's not even intentional. It's a
Hmm.
completely accident, right?
Hmm.
Um, or if you just get so exhausted, there's no rest
Hmm.
place. Do you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
And
Like
they have
running or walking.
volunteers, but anything. I mean,
Exactly, yeah, and all the
it's a
volunteers were
long
great.
waiver that we have to sign. Let's just say
Well,
that.
exactly, yeah, like, and that's the thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I agree. It's an area to work on,
Hmm.
and every year that we do this, I want to try to get better in some area,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's my weakest
Let's
as
try to
well.
get under 7 hours this year.
That's
We
the goal.
will. We
Yes,
absolutely will.
we were
I'm
so
not.
close. We
Yeah,
got
we
that
will.
no problem.
Let's aim for 6, but if it's under 7, we got better.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Cool.
What's our goal for the marathon or
I
half
don't
marathon?
know.
13 miles.
Yeah.
We
Let's go back and look on Strava and see what we ran our 13 miler.
Oh, okay,
The
that's a good
one where
idea.
you got like an hour of sleep before or something that you didn't tell me till after we ran it. You're like, I have something to tell you.
I was so worried.
How much
Well,
sleep was it? It was
it was like an
I
hour.
was
I had an hour of
I
sleep.
got 1 hours of sleep. I'm like, wait, what? And you just ran
Yeah.
13
And
miles?
we took off.
What is wrong with you? I
Well,
would
I
have
have a lot of
canceled.
energy.
I like
Yeah.
barely canceled, but I would have obviously canceled. Like,
Right. Well, I just really didn't want to let you down because like I was just I forget what I was hanging out with some people just having fun the night prior.
yeah.
And then I remember waking up like not getting that much sleep at all and being like,
Uh-huh.
okay, like I gotta at least get this in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I knew I had nothing to do after the run.
Yeah.
So in my mind the whole time, that's what I kept telling myself
Right.
was like, if you do this, you can do nothing the rest of the day.
Oh my
You could,
gosh.
and honestly, I'm just always the H in my ADHD. I'm always hyped up anyways. I have a lot of
Yeah.
energy. I don't sit a lot. Like my job, I'm standing all day and
Uh-huh.
everything like that. And so, um, yeah, I can't believe I got through it as well
Oh
though.
my
I know we
gosh.
did.
Okay, so we did 13 miles in June
Yep.
and it took 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Okay.
So since we were only going to have trained for, actually trained for like 3 weeks or whatever,
Right.
I would say 2 hours would be great.
I think 2 hours is a good
Just like,
timeline.
because last June we'd been training for hard and already done a triathlon.
Right.
So I think that would be a really awesome goal. Just do the
2
two
hours. That's
hours.
our goal.
And yeah. So that was 9 minute, 9 minute, 25-second miles. So
Okay. And that's on par with what we're running
yeah.
right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time to wrap up this session, but it's been
Yeah. This
good.
was
It's always a
awesome.
blast. Yeah. Looking
Cool.
forward to all the new things coming. We'll check in next week with it'll be our Christmas
Our Christmas.
podcast.
That'll
Yeah.
be fun. We'll make it fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us at the Real Cut Big Bit, where we give you our unfiltered take on life.